Brian Giles of Brian Giles MTG, and this is a review of um, videos 12 and forward of the Warhammer 40k spoilers, because I want to cut these videos down into more manageable, uploadable times. So at this point, we are deep into the Imperium deck, the final deck that we're going over. And the Imperium, for those of you that don't know, they're a group that is ruled by a central emperor. They have kind of a Holy Roman Empire-esque type of feel to them, but it's like futuristic, and their soldiers are mainly the Astartes, which are biomechanically enhanced humans that are somewhat akin to something like you'd see in the video game Halo, where they're re-engineered humans in big mech suits. So starting off, we have Birth of the Imperium. 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black, 2 colorless, for an enchantment saga that reads, Chapter 1, create a 2/2 white Astartes warrior creature token with vigilance for each opponent you have. Chapter 2, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Chapter 3, draw 2 cards for each opponent who controls fewer creatures than you. Next up, we have Calidus Assassin. 1 blue, 1 black, 4 colors for a 3/3 human shapeshifter assassin with polymorphine. You may have Calidus Assassin enter the battlefield tapped as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it has, when this creature enters the battlefield, destroy up to 1 other target creature with the same name as this creature. So basically, a replacement shapeshifter. Next up is Mortify. 1 white, 1 black, 1 colorless, for an instant that reads destroy target creature or enchantment. Super powerful removal card. Next up, we have Belisarius Call. 1 white, 1 blue, 2 colors for a 2/4 legendary artifact creature human with Ultima Founding. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. Create a 2/2 white Astartes warrior creature token with vigilance. And Master of Machines. Tap it. Tap X untapped creatures you control. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand, with the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That could be super useful if you're allowed to play it in a standard deck, especially in something like the Azorius Voltron deck. Next up is a land reprint in Ash Barrens. A land, if you tap it, you add a colorless mana, or it has basic land cycling for 1. So you pay 1 colorless, discard this card and search your library for a basic land card, and put it in your hand and shuffle. Excuse me. Next up, you have Sister Hospitaller. 1 white, 1 black, 4 colors for a 3/2 human cleric with Medicus Ministerium. When Sister Hospitaller enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You gain life equal to its mana value. So again, like I said, a kind of this old Holy Roman Empire feel. A lot of kind of Latin-esque type of things in there. Next up, we have a land in Arcane Sanctum, a land that enters the battlefield tap. You can tap it to add blue, or rather white, blue, or black. We have Darkwater Catacombs, another reprint. It's a land. Pay one colorless, tap it to add blue and black. Next, we have Memorial to Glory, a land. This says Memorial to Glory enters the battlefield tap it to add a white mana, or pay 1 white, 3 colorless, tap it, sacrifice Memorial to Glory, and create 2 white soldier creature tokens. Next up, we have Port Town. It's one of these reveal lands. As Port Town enters the battlefield, reveal a plains or an island card from your hand. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. Tap it to add white or blue. Next up, we have the Tranquil Cove, another life land. Tranquil Cove enters the battlefield tapped. When Tranquil Cove enters the battlefield, you gain a life. Tap it to add white or blue. Next up, we have Prairie Stream. It's a plains island. This is a slow land. You tap it to add white or blue, and it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Next up is Scoured Barrens. It enters the battlefield tapped, and when it enters the battlefield, you gain a life. Tap it to add white or black. Next up, we have Skycloud Expanse, a land, 1 colorless. Tap it to add white and blue. Okay, next up we have another Inquisitor, an Inquisitor Eisenhorn. 1 blue, 1 black, 2 colorless for a 2/3 legendary human Inquisitor. You may reveal the first card you draw each turn as you draw it. Whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card this way, create Cherubel, a legendary 4/4 black demon creature token with flying. Whenever Inquisitor Eisenhorn deals combat damage to a player, investigate that many times. So that that investigate ability is what the Inquisitors do. Next up, we have Naam Shai Murad, a legendary human rogue for 3. That's a 3/3. Has Rogue Trader. Whenever Naam Shai Murad deals combat damage to a player, you may have that player return target permanent card from the graveyard to their hand. If you do, that player chooses a permanent card in your graveyard, and then you put it onto the battlefield under your control. So they get a card back, but you get a card right back onto the battlefield. Next up is Collective Effort. 2 white and a colorless for sorcery that reads, Escalate. Tap an untapped creature you control. Pay this cost for each mode chosen beyond the first. Choose 1 or more. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, or destroy target enchantment, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. So, super useful. Next up, we have Bastion Protector. 1 white, 2 colorless for a 3/3 human soldier, saying commander creatures you control get +2/+2 and have indestructible. Now, there's a super useful card. If you can protect that card, your commander is beefy and is indestructible. Hoo-ha! Next up is Deploy to the Front. 2 white, 5 colorless. For sorcery that reads, create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens, where X is the number of creatures on the battlefield. So this is something that, if you're about ready to overwhelm somebody, you just. Next up is Entrapment Maneuver. 1 white, 3 colorless for an instant that reads, target player sacrifices an attacking creature. You create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens where X is that creature's toughness. Okay. Take out their big beefy creature, create a bunch of white soldier tokens. Next up is Hour of Reckoning. A beefy 3 white 4 colors for a sorcery with Convoke. And Convoke is your creatures can help cast this spell. Each creature you tap while casting this spell pays for 1 color, so 1 mana of that creature's color. Destroy all non-token creatures. So you just put out a whole bunch of token creatures and basically you board wipe everybody else. Next up is Launch the Fleet. 1 white mana for a sorcerer that has Stride. This spell costs 1 colorless more to cast for each target beyond the first. Until end of turn, any number of target creatures gain. Whenever this creature attacks, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token that's tapped and attacking. And I still cannot remember the name of the creature from Midnight Hunt that, when it attacks, it creates when you attack, it creates a 1/1 white creature that's tapped and attacking. Same type of thing, but you get to target more beyond the first. You got to pay a little extra, but you give all your attacking creatures a buddy. Next up is Martial Coup. 2 white, X colorless for a sorcerer that reads, create X 1/1 white soldier creature token. If X is 5 or more, destroy all other creatures. Again, creating more token creatures. That's kind of a theme with this deck. And it's if you pay the big casting cost, you can board wipe everybody else. Next up is Swords to Plowshares. A nice, useful reprint. 1 white mana for an instant that reads, exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. Next up is Reconnaissance Mission. 2 blue, 2 colorless, for enchantment that reads, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card, and it cycles for 2 colorless. Next up is Utter End. 1 white, 1 black, 2 colorless. Exile target non-land permanent. Targeted removal to exile. Always useful. Hoo-ha. Next up is another almost staple of commander decks in Ever-Flowing Chalice. 0 colorless mana for artifact with multi-kicker 2. You may pay an additional 2 colorless mana any number of times as you cast this spell. Ever-Flowing Chalice enters the battlefield with a charge counter on for each time it was kicked. Tap it to add a colorless mana for each charge counter on Ever-Flowing Chalice. Next up is another interesting reprint, and I'm not surprised to see in these cards. In Skull Clamp. 1 colorless mana for an artifact equipment that reads, equipped creature gets +1/-1. Whenever equipped creature dies, draw 2 cards and equip for 1. Next up is Triumph of St. Catherine. 1 white, 4 colors for a 5/5 human warrior with lifelink with Presidium Protectiva. When Triumph of St. Catherine dies, exile it and the top 6 cards of your library in a face-down pile. If you do, shuffle that pile and put it back on the top of your library. And it has a miracle cost of 1 white and 1 colorless. So if you draw this card off the top of your deck, you could have a 5/5 lifelink human warrior for 1 white, 1 colorless. Who bloody ha! What's not to like about that? Next up is a battle cry, and this will be the last of this video of the Imperium deck in For the Emperor. 1 white, 3 colorless. Creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain vigilance and lifelink until end of turn. That's super fun. Well, that's going to be it for this section of the video. I will make another video, and we'll see you on the next one.